Got a whole lot of nutting going on here. That isn't good. The thing just got a little more expensive. Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. Yesterday I traveled to an oasis known as Wingdale, New York. It's really kind of in the middle of nowhere along the Connecticut border. Anyway, I picked up this rig. It was a Facebook deal. The story I was told is it belonged to somebody's stepson. He traded something and got this and something else that he really wanted. He tried to fix this and didn't have any luck, so he dropped it off at Dad's house. Or maybe I should make that stepdad's house. Anyway, I think I might have made a mistake on this one. He wanted 600 and I gave him, we agreed to 460. When I walked up to it, I was looking at the far side and it seemed to look like it did in the paper, right, on Facebook. And I don't know if the pictures on Facebook, because I always look for the recoil starter. If you don't have a recoil starter, you're kind of screwed. I mean, just to put it bluntly, fetching up a recoil starter, depending on the all-terrain vehicle, they're very hard to get. Like the Suzuki 125, ATV 125. It and the 185 share a recoil starter, but they're really hard to find, and if you do find one, they want like $250. And considering it's only a $500 all-terrain vehicle, if it's perfect, right, the numbers just don't work. Anyway, so this was off. The bolt for it was on the ground, and the basket, I said, yo, I need the basket, or you know, this isn't going to work for me. Anyway, so he went to this tarp shed and dug around for like 20 minutes and came back with the basket. Unfortunately, the recoil rope is also broken, so there's no way of testing the compression. So I'm, once again, out on a limb. Something else I noticed, and not until this morning, is you see how the intake manifold, or the exhaust manifold, right? Somebody took the pipe off. Why would you take the pipe off if it just had an electrical problem? Supposedly this thing won't spark. By the way, why would you take the basket off, right, the starter basket off, if you only had an electrical problem? So let's get back to it. Given that I really have no idea and there's some bad indications, I would have considered this like a $300 or a $350 all-terrain vehicle. Unfortunately, the deal was already closed, right? And if I didn't lean on him pretty hard, I probably wouldn't have got the basket. So we got to put the basket back on and see if we can turn it over and check out if there's any compression. A couple of the things I did notice, it has Dunlop tires in the front, both front tires on Dunlops, and I think they're OEM, the way the rims look and everything else. This is the better of the two. That one's a little more buffed. So Dunlop tires are a good sign. The plastic is a rock solid B-. It's not perfect, right? It's got some cracks, obviously, but it's like mostly there, except the trunk lid. The racks are obviously off, and I did not get them. And you could see somebody tagged the dashboard. Or, you know, a lot of times when kids work on these things, I'm not picking on kids, I know some kids that are great mechanics, but a lot of times when some kids work on these things, if they can't get them running, they just kind of drop everything where they are. Hence the bolt on the ground right underneath the all-terrain vehicle. At least, you know, you got reverse hooked up here. Hopefully there's something there for the shifter. I mean, this side of the engine looks looks pretty good, right? Obviously, it wasn't sparking. It's even the right key and switch, Kawasaki. This is the brake lock. This thing here is also interesting. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Bayous. It has an open, you can open and close the rear differential. For people who don't know what that means you could go posi track where the back tires are locked together, or if you open it, they could turn independently. The differential actually works, which is good because it's easier to get around turns with an open differential. That's positive. By the way, in the back it's got a Titan and a Carlisle. So, the tail light's there, and it even kind of looks like the right one. There are no headlights. I'm not sure why they took them off. I think this thing, from what I could tell, is known as a KLF300. So Bayou 300. These are nice machines. Utility, right? With the open and close differential, the shaft drive, 300 cc's. I mean, these things are monsters. The only criticism I have is they're heavy, right? They are a heavy machine. It really looks like it was pretty well taken care of, right? I mean, the front isn't all trashed, right? You could see the A-arms aren't all dinged up, right? This isn't all bent to hell. This isn't cracked loose. I mean, there's a lot of pluses to this machine. I mean, the seat looks good. I'll show you the recoil. So here's the recoil starter, and they actually included the right one. They had a few different projects going on, so one always wants to double check that. There's the basket I told you about, the starter basket, and it does have the keyway in it, so that's positive. The bolt. Here's some other stuff he included. The wires are the right color here for Kawasaki. They're big on that red with the or orange with the yellow stripe. They said they couldn't get spark. I'm not thinking leaving pieces of the wire harness out would be the right way to get spark. They also seem to be messing with the fuse. There's the fuel. Here are the blocks for the exhaust to fill in the exhaust bushings. Let's call them that, to make sure you get good exhaust pipe seal to the engine, the exhaust manifold seal to the engine. Assorted nuts and bolts. You know, looks like a mouse might have been in there. I really hope this thing isn't locked up or the valves aren't messed up. Anyway, I want to slip the starter basket on there and give it a couple of turns before I even get it off the truck. If it's locked up, I just got a mess here. I just took a bat to the face. So this is a test somebody should perform on every all-terrain vehicle before you buy it. Either pull the recoil or try to turn it over by hand. If you're not, if the thing's not a runner, you really want to be careful. You know, even before you buy it, if you tickle the starter with the battery, right? It's still the other guy's all-terrain vehicle. That was me, by the way, that clank. Looks like we got something. I'm going in the right direction. Though there's not a plug in here. But it looks like I've gone around more than twice. So I think maybe I might be okay. This is the other side of the engine, and if you look over here, it does look like they've been putting a jump pack directly to the starter. You know what? Before I call it quits, I think I'm going to put the plug in. We'll put a jump pack on there and see if we have any compression. I'm hoping this turns out well. You got kind of two things going on with this thing. In some respects, it looks like it's nice, but then in other respects, it looks like an amateur mechanic had their way with the poor machine. So the jump pack is on, and it seems we got a whole lot of nutting going on here. That isn't good. The thing just got a little more expensive. And a little more work, right? Starter has to come off. Maybe I could get away with the cleaning. Right, we're on. Jump pack's good. I mean, I'm not even getting sparks. Well, there we are. There's one more quick test I performed. I did it off camera. I went to put it in gear, and it kind of wouldn't go. So I rocked it, then it went right into gear, then it popped right out of gear. So there's something there for the transmission. I'm at 460 with this thing, and you guys could see how far I got with the, you know, what's wrong with it, what's not wrong with it. Once again, the pieces missing, trunk lid, racks. Looks like a little piece of plastic is missing over here. Piece of the dashboard is missing. There's been a little bit of hacking on it, not a crazy amount. The seat's in decent shape. The recoil does need some love. Oh, they welded the bolt. And they welded the belt. Ugh. If I had to guess what happened to this thing, I bet you it was being worked on, and the person ran into trouble with the electric starter died, the recoil starter died. At that point, they couldn't do anything with it, so they brought it over to Dad's house and said, like, yo, can you deal with this for me? Or Stepdad's house. Stepdad gave it a sniff, realized the starter was bad, the recoil was bad, and like, yo, son, I'm busy. I don't have all the time in the world to put into what appears to be a junker. God knows what's wrong with the spark. Maybe homie doesn't do spark in his case. So he just said, you know what, let's push it over the side, see what we could get out of it. Hopefully you don't lose too much money. And probably the turning point, his calculation was making money or not making money, was somewhere around that 450, 460 mark, which is what I got him down to, and that's why I got it for that price. I don't know what shape the motor really is in, and I won't know that until I turn it over for real. I put the plug back in. The problem is when I go up against the compression, that's loosening the bolt. So if I go up against it, yeah, it sounds like it's got something in there. Maybe. That doesn't sound all that great either. I don't know. I might have me a pig in a poke, and the pig isn't healthy. Yeah, I might have swine disease here. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. You know more about it now than I did when I bought it, right? You know, once again, the indications, it's got all the caps, it's got the OEM front tires, the seat's really pretty good, right? Plastic's really pretty good for its age. I assume this is probably a 25-year-old machine. It's got a lot of the details, right? The lock and unlock piece. I mean, the cable's off and hanging in the sky, but it's there. I mean, a lot of it looks pretty decent, but then a lot of it looks tampered. Anyway, you guys will let me know what you all think. I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember, feet down, heads up. Get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.